And welcome to episode 6.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm Romney.
I'm Baker, and
Yeah.
yeah, just like last week, viewer discretion is advised. It's probably going to be that way for a while.
Yeah, um, the ongoing war
Yeah,
that would that this would persist for at least uh
the
probably
foreseeable.
for at least the next couple of weeks. Uh,
Yeah, um, yeah. Overall, this has just been pretty bad. Okay, so essentially, what's been going on in the war is that Lebanon and Syria have kind of joined in,
yeah,
and obviously things are not looking too good with Iran uh, thinking about going in. Um,
okay. Yeah.
Reportedly, uh, you can go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Yeah, I mean, working forces as I think there was a big that Israel had already that we knew last week was kind of hitting first, but or hitting back, but now this time, I think in the past 24 hours, they had said they wanted all of like Palestine to evacuate, which almost seemed impossible because it wanted them to move to the south, which was like how is that going to work? Go to Egypt or other and Egypt doesn't want them, so it's almost not fair that obviously casualties were going to have to be involved, and that's how it was looking. And there's already a difference uh, between Israeli and Palestinian conflict.
Yeah, and this is it's really spread outside of the Middle East. Obviously, Turkey, they're taking a stance on they're taking a stance that sides more moderately, but a little more towards Palestine. Um, Greece is kind of starting to side with Israel, but obviously, um, and it's still like this. It's been like this for a long time. Um, if the Greeks take one side, the Turks take the other.
Yeah,
I think that goes back to the days of the Ottoman Empire. Um, the UK and France are also starting to send ships to the Mediterranean to kind of monitor the situation. So we'll see what happens with that in the coming days.
yeah. It's definitely seemed interesting, which countries have kind of taken which sides and which has fallen to. Uh, and I even a majority of people, that they don't know which way to go, or that they've even noticed more of a bias now of on where how to start. And hearing to the one side of it all comes from anti-Semitism and hate, but also being like, how is it fair that the U.S. funds for Israel, and it's seeming like way more Palestinians are dying than Israelis. So a lot of people are wondering where or that how is that being covered. I think uh, definitely over 2,000 have been killed. And back in 2014, when more than 2,000 were killed in the 50-day war through Palestinians, uh, that people are the majority of wondering where how that's worked.
Yeah, and there was a leaked phone call today, um, where there was a Palestinian citizen who like called the Israeli Defense Force and said that Hamas was kind of blocking the evacuation routes, which,
Mm.
um, if you guys don't know, the northern section of the Gaza Strip is Israel's trying to evacuate that because they are going to go in, and from there, it's just not looking good. Obviously, Israel is under a lot of pressure, especially from practically everyone in the region. Um, so this move is, I don't know, it's interesting here.
Yeah, I think I saw some of the someone who was behind the initial Hamas attack, the El Deif, or how I pronounce it, where who was a influential military figure in Hamas. He was always opposed to any peace. Hamas calls quote the Zionist entity, um, but yeah, I think the full name Mohammed Da'ab Ebar El Mazari, which El Dif, for decades stayed in different houses but eventually he's been around since the 1960s, but almost was called the ghost of the majority of Palestinians. But many have seemed to believe that throughout the year that he started this since throughout '96. He did a accomplished bomb that killed over 65 people in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. So many believe um, that he started it. Which is interesting. Uh,
Yeah, it. This is crazy. El Dave, as he's known, you know, but he is he's the commander of the Izzad Al Qassam brigades for
mm,
Hamas. Um, and he's fought in not only the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, but all of the stuff going down in Gaza, and he fought in the Fatah and Hamas conflict, which
mm.
did happen in 2006 and 2007. That was where Fatah and Hamas started to kind of split, and that's kind of where a lot of this came from.
Yeah, I wonder for this because that's what happened in like oh 07 and '08 war where Fatah kind of came in and almost cleared things up a little bit through Hamas and kept more things because Hamas isn't going to accept any sort of peaceful resolution. So I was wondering if how this would happen this time because that's how it happened then. Uh, to think about.
And
Uh,
yeah, I cannot believe that I have to read all this. Apparently, Hamas proclaimed a day of jihad a couple days ago. That you know, not a lot happened, but there were two pretty notable, um, I guess, incidents. Um, an employee of the Israeli embassy in Beijing was stabbed and injured by a foreign national. That's just insane. Um, because now you've got instances of battles in the war, causing violence in China, and that's not the only thing that's happened in the past few days outside of the Middle East. Um, there was a pretty bad stabbing attack at a high school in Arras, France, where a teacher was killed and another teacher and a security guard were seriously wounded.
yeah.
Yeah, and then this, I cannot believe this is just insane. This happened in Illinois. A man stabbed a 42-year-old woman and her 6-year-old son while shouting, "You Muslims must die," and the 6-year-old did end up dying.
Wow.
Yeah,
And
just
then this is just been throughout uh, reactions. uh, that people have had throughout this world that has been very uh, sickening to hear.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, interesting to know how this war has advanced. Where I read the other that weapons used by Hamas militants have been appeared to be Russian or Chinese made, which
that's not good.
is interesting. I get CNN was able to identify where they were used from, and that also rifles that weapon and militants and that's striking to know that throughout the years with in contact and connects that I
Yeah.
that's definitely
Um,
but yeah I,
1 minute.
and
I am going to shut the door.
oh okay yeah
Yeah.
I think I've noticed a difference of coverage of what's uh between a lot more Israeli civilians, but neglecting a lot of the coverage of Palestinian civilians, especially children that have also been killed throughout the years, and even a lot of like some uh, British journalists coming out to to be like live on air that Hamas had beheaded 40 Israeli babies. And
Yeah.
then someone had commented, to say, is it true that Hamas carried out these beheadings? And they said, well, it looks like this isn't true because there hasn't been evidence on that. Um, but in other words, I mean, children have all been beheaded by Israeli bombardments, but not as much reportage of that. So I hear that the gray area of what's covered through what. Because Israel has lethal force as well.
Yeah. I will just say that a lot of Hamas's claims recently, um, those are in those are not accurate.
Yeah.
A lot of
No.
them. Something that I just do want to quickly point out is, you know, you, they want to claim that there is like a genocide of Palestinians, and well, yeah, it may seem that way. Here's the thing: Hamas is outright saying that Israel's targeting hospitals and schools and stuff, but
Yeah.
Hamas's bases, they're all underground, and they are purposely building them underneath schools and hospitals and like nursing homes and all that, so that when Israel's trying to, kill terrorists, they're killing innocent civilians there. Like they're purposely doing it, and the pipes that were just put in last year uh, to get water and electricity in, those are what's being used for the missiles that Palestine is making. That Hamas is shooting. So Hamas is quite literally doing this to their own people.
Yeah, I think there are blatant differences of between who are like Hamas is their cause isn't willing. It's they're when they're committing martyrdom and their life just for land and it's there's the difference of Israel has it's a difference of when there's better intentions almost of whether regard of the brutality of I think if just an example of the history Alexa TV which was funded by Hamas back in the OSIM, which I feel is a theory of what ended up happening today. That broadcasting was for children um, in Palestine to watch then, which really just spread a lot of political propaganda using. a Mickey Mouse knockoff and other, which sounds ridiculous to spread, to almost brainwash children into believing in using the most messed up excuses to show what the Israel and the Jewish had uh, done harm to their land, and that was their reasons. Like even using examples of one episode, the mouse cheated on a test, and when asked why, it was like the Jews stole my homework, and so I had to, and children seeing that, that community was built up to, or the theory is that the children then are a part of Hamas now, knowing that these stories of, yeah, they took my land, I'm gonna devote my life, and there's more of a disdain and actual reason to commit this violence. There isn't any justice with this community. It's a terrorist organization. To be frank.
Yeah. Now I do just want to point this out. Reportedly, this is not confirmed at all, but this just broke. So, like I said, I don't know what's going on here with this, but Shawnee Loke, the German-Israeli tattoo artist and influencer, who was at that music festival, the one who was in the back of the pickup truck in those numerous videos, she is reportedly alive but in critical condition.
Wow,
Um,
that's
yeah,
lighthearted. Good to hear.
yeah. Um, you know, unfortunately, unfortunately, yeah, the sports world is, especially for a lot of followers of soccer or football, um, during that music festival massacre, um, a pro soccer player, a retired soccer player actually, Lior Asselin, did end up getting killed in Reim, which is where the music festival happened.
Yeah, I almost feel the balls Hamas had just committing that act at the festival is just the amount of 260 that are around until for that was a
270.
brutal act. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh, and yeah,
it's
like you said, reading back to that, how it's the U.S. is reacting to that Illinois man just because of the Islamic faith, and just back to what you said, how that should be the last thing going on in America against we should at least be acknowledging what's going on. That's the opposite of what should be happening.
yeah. But overall, I will say that this desperately, and I mean desperately, needs to stop because, um, you know, we're seeing not only insane amounts of human rights violations on both sides. Okay, I'm not out here uh, condoning either side's actions. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I'm just speaking the facts here. Um, both sides need to stop because both sides are committing insane amounts of human rights violations. Um, you know, Israel with their white phosphorus munitions, that needs to stop first, because that can get up to 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit. Um, I don't even want to talk about what that can do to the human body because um, it's pretty bad. Let's just say it's about 4 times as powerful as the average oven can get. It's about 4 times as hot as that.
Yeah, that's just one factor
Yeah,
of the problem. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, people have mixed views of the prime minister, um, but Yeah, I know. I guess sort of other good news. I guess t today that seemed that Iran appeared to back down that they wouldn't be assisting Hamas and that uh, they would not be directly involved in the Israel-Hamas war as an announcement to United Nations in New York that said the quote the resistance can defend themselves. I mean that's good news if they're telling the truth, but I don't. Um, No, because yes, Iran's armed forces will not engage. But yeah, I don't. They're certain they're funding. We know they're funding Hamas in Syria and um, other. So it's hard. It's hard for me to believe everything coming out of that. But yeah,
Yeah. Now, I will go. I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that we are probably not going to see an end to this war within the next few weeks, which is obviously what everybody wants to see this war end, but unfortunately, it's not looking like we're going to see that in the next few weeks.
no. Uh, Also, try not to sound down, but just the all likelihood that
Yeah,
there, yeah, that there doesn't sound like there'd be a feasible, peaceful solution as of now.
yeah. Um, so Steve Scalise out of the running for Speaker of the House.
Yeah, yeah, there's been an interesting, and that's gone on with that each day. That yeah, one day, yeah, Scalise runs, then the next, he doesn't have the support, so he drops out, and then they tap Jim Jordan. At least Republicans seem to um, that's who they've wanted to rally around. Which is yeah interesting because yeah second nominee this week. But there's other Republicans refusing to back him, so we'll see a big. There's a House floor I think Tuesday, and it's seeming like that would be uh, almost a vote between Jim Jordan, Hakeem Jeffries, uh, which is almost yeah, which seems to always be what ends up coming out both um, far on in their parties. Um, and yeah, they're usually doesn't seem to be a speaker that comes to get it, but it's yeah, they'll need to be I believe 217 votes, and I don't know if either one has one, uh, but yeah, I think Tuesday would, and but yeah, that's it's fairly chaotic. I know we talked about the other nominees last week, but um, I think Gates really, besides wanting to brand himself, wanted Trump. Marjorie Taylor Greene and but you kind of Jordan's their sort of their best bet, like it, but I don't know if either has the votes. Uh, that's usually how it seemed to sound.
Now,
Uh,
we do have some news. Um, Obviously, Will Hurd dropped out of the race. He endorsed Nikki Haley. I think we talked about that the last episode. I'm not sure if we did though. Um,
I I believe we may if we didn't we did now that yeah that he endorsed Nikki Haley and yeah that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced his independent candidacy, which kind of yeah that ends his effort to defeat President Biden in the Democratic primary, and that also I don't know if either party is really feels in the middle for him because he donated to RNC super PAC donors. So it's yeah, I don't. It might help his candidacy being. I know most wanted him to just drop independent, and that is kind of makes some more sense. But
I
uh,
mean, we are looking at a potential Ross Perot-esque run if he can get that following, but who knows? Corey Stapleton dropping out of the Republican primary. Just after hitting major candidate threshold, he decides to drop out.
Yeah. Uh, I knew George Santos kind of floats back up and down in the name again, but um, Justice Department ended up charging it with 23 counts, including identity theft and money laundering, which just piles on to uh, him. And I knew he spoke out the other day and completely denied his outcry of supporting Scalise in favor of Jordan, being like, for years I've asked for a word from Scalise and I've heard no word, so therefore I'm going to vote for Jordan. So that's yeah. It's been a GOP leadership crisis, and I don't even yeah. Tuesday we'll see a vote for that. Um, but yeah, it was,
Um,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Yes, go ahead.
yeah. I I just want to bring up that there is this is pretty insane that I do want to mention this. Um, someone is there's a candidate running for the 2024 Democratic presidential primaries. Um, I don't know if you've heard of him. His name is Cenk Uygur. He was born in Istanbul. Um, Now he's claiming he's the first YouTuber to ever run for president. That is not true. Voiceover Pete did run for president in 2020. Um, and while Uyghur is eligible to run, he is not eligible to serve because he is not a natural born U.S. citizen. Neither of his parents are from the U.S. Um, he was not born in the U.S. I believe he does have American citizenship though, but
Yeah,
the laws around this are a little confusing, and honestly, they need to be a little clearer. But overall, I just wanted to highlight Stank Uyghur because I thought this was somewhat notable.
I had heard a little bit about this, which is interesting because he is a Turkish political commentator who's he is on the left side and is I think we saying looking at the right things and saying that um, I think I've said the name Dean Phillips before and I think he's talked a little bit about him and um, coming out that bringing attention that almost 75% of people think that President Biden's too old and it's, crazy to ignore that, so it's shine a light on the party and saying that. But yeah, if he wasn't born in a America, and so that he did run, but that doesn't seem like he's able to, yeah, to be president. So mm.
We
Yeah,
will
young
see.
Turks host.
Yeah. Um, we'll see what happens with that because obviously there's been a lot of people that have been trying to get the law changed. I know Arnold Schwarzenegger, when he was governor of California, he was trying to get that changed. I know Brock Pierce um, was trying to get that changed. And there were quite a few others, I believe. Ilhan Omar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and that kind of makes me wonder because if they're not allowed to run, how were Ted Cruz and Michael Bennett? Like, how were they able to run in 2016 and 2020?
Good point.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Yeah, the candidates are interesting. I think I noticed Ramaswamy. He's reported an uptick in small donors, that more up to 4.2 million in cash on hand. So it's weird. He's slowly growing it for all the run, but yet I feel like he's also been, you know, clearly called out at least five, six times for different things that don't like voting for the first time in 2016. Not even questions on his American citizenship and uh, yeah, well, just pushing late votership, but trying to appeal to young voters just all over the place. And uh, I think DeSantis is. I think he's been trying to look to reverse to a high burn rate to quell donor nerves, but I don't. It's not really. He's kind of stayed this. He's in this weird second place this throughout this entire uh, time, and I just saw one that he was asked about the war and uh, didn't really. I think was just saying something that trying to be more aggressive or but also trying to be less lenient with Israel's funding. And I don't. Um, but Nikki Haley's also, I think she's looking, getting other, small supports and looking through. But Mike Pence recently, he's had campaign troubles, as I've seen recently with. I think it's one fund at 1.2 million, but he has a six-figure debt in his campaign. He's having a lot of campaign money troubles. Um, for Pence, so that's yeah, hasn't yeah, that hasn't been a
Yeah.
yeah for those candidates. But I believe President Biden has funded a 74 million his so the reason for his campaign, which is the understand whether it's weird that he's still getting this or not weird, but hard to um, that I guess that usually happen an incumbent can still get this um, the amount, but um, yeah, it's understandable to be like, um, that's an unrealistic amount. But uh, yeah, I think he was on 60 Minutes tonight, uh, and I think he was saying, quote, it would be a big mistake for Israel to reoccupy Gaza, while adding that Israel has to respond, um, which I, I didn't exactly expect him to say that. And I kind of agree. I also don't want Israel to take Gaza, and that there needs to be more sympathy for the Palestinian community, but that they're not just going to sit there and not take action for their citizens being striked first. And now I think 30 Americans have been killed at most. That I think that's the current number, um, which yeah. Mm.
Now, what? Now, last night we were like hanging my curtains, and this, and I thought that just to lighten the mood, I would bring this up. Um, we were, um, I have curtains that are basically just like the world map, and so we're and on one of the windows it's Pacific centered. One of the windows is Atlantic centered. So the Pacific centered one had like Alaska and Russia really close, and I was just like, wow, I bet Sarah Palin can see Russia from her backyard again.
Yeah, she could even say that right. Yeah, she'd give you a headache in 5 minutes if could. Yeah, that's a good one. But uh, uh, yeah, it's good to lighten the mood.
I held out
Uh,
hope that she was gonna run in 24.
oh boy, uh, yeah, we know that was the old Romney Palin campaign um, or McCain
Yeah,
normal. Yeah.
but yeah, like I was really hoping she'd run, if anything, just because I want to see a debate that is specifically just Vivek, DeSantis, Chris Christie, Nikki Haley, Perry, and Palin. I want to see I want to see all of them go head to head. No one else, just those
A lot of people
candidates.
want to see Trump in there too. Just might as well just the more fire in the mix. But
Yeah,
Palin and Perry, that yeah, that could yeah, that'd be great. But
I feel like we're gonna get
it
an
just
RFK Perry run.
yeah, I um yeah. So I get someone else that we really haven't brought up. Senator Bob Menendez
Oh,
has uh definitely brought a name in the mix and keeps popping up in with bigger. He keeps digging a deeper hole for himself. I'll feel it. Yeah, once I think the first main things that were kind of coming up were bribery charges, and him and his wife were indicted on that for stealing gold in a bunch of why gold bars like that. It was very uh, interesting, and then I think there were more things coming up that even his wife was involved in a lot more of in a murder like hit and run in 2018, and then more. Um, I think up to 38 Democrats had called for Menendez to resign. John Fetterman was the first one, but not really any Republicans, which is just kind of showing that I think that the stance that criminals can still run for office on that side of Santos, Trump, kind of the but also then Bob Menendez being charged with conspiracy acts with a foreign agent of Egypt and new indictments, which was just all that is just weird. But an Egyptian agent, obviously most people are gonna. How in the world are you gonna trust this guy? Why isn't he stepped down yet? This this is some crazy shit.
yeah, that definitely. Yeah, that's definitely crazy. Yeah, but it's not like we haven't seen this before. But I feel like this could start
Hmm.
like the new era of McCarthyism, and I'm not talking Kevin.
Which who even McCarthy's?
Joseph McCarthy.
Yeah, I that's who I was thinking because if it wasn't get yeah that uh, yeah that's awesome. But and even I think today who I think Andy Kim has overtaken Menendez fundraising for Senate, which I don't even uh, I guess that's the process of maybe the next thing is he's it's gonna be shut. You can't really take him seriously anymore. So it's most people are just like, how are you supposed to trust this guy? So it's as to congregate. So that's
Y-
woof.
yeah, I didn't see that coming at all.
No.
Um,
um, yeah. Uh, yeah. Uh,
Yikes.
I think there was also it felt interesting to me that not more international that happens over the past in Australia and New Zealand. In New Zealand, they were kind of started off. I guess they Australia was start looking for a um, bring indigenous voices to Australia more to so that other communities could have also a say in the voting mix, and Australia said no to that pretty comfortably. Um, and it also just after years of looking for no transformational change in the parliament, they they basically just kind of now Australia is kind of the new Alabama, kind of a little bit. They or at least how they wanted. It's their most conservative government in decades through the shift and just yeah, voting yeah, just no on a lot of yeah, a new parliament referendum and yeah, yeah, striking uh, to turn the yeah because a lot of people a lot of Australians seem to for it to be an opportunity to turn a page on its colonial and racist past, but uh, they're that's the people said no, so that's hey that's fine. Hey, that yeah, uh, that was interesting.
Yeah. Um, I found this to be like a little crazy. I thought this was going to I thought this was gonna pass, but it didn't. Um, we don't cover foreign politics nearly enough as we should on here.
Yeah, you definitely. I would say you know a lot more about it than I do. Ironically.
Um, yeah, obviously, I believe we're in the run up to the next Canadian election. By the way, I forgot to mention we do have a lot of viewers from Canada. I'm part of a YouTube community myself with a lot of members from Canada. Um, so I figured I'd talk about this. There's um, the Canadian election must happen on or before October 20th, 2025. Now, obviously, now here is who is expected to represent who, because I do want to bring this up. Um, Justin Trudeau, obviously expected to uh, represent the Liberal Party. Pierre Poilievre, I think that's how you pronounce his name. It's French. Um, he's expected to represent the Conservative Party. Uh, Yves Francois Blanchet, he's going to represent the Bloc Québécois. I find them to be a very interesting party because they want an independent Quebec.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I I don't know if that'll ever happen, but I do know there's a strong Quebec separatism movement. Um, I guess only time will tell. Jagmeet Singh, expected to represent the New Democratic Party. Um, he has openly said that he is on edge right now, though, after what happened in Canada um, with the assassination of that Sikh leader. He has said that he is on edge. So we'll see what happens with Jagmeet Singh. Elizabeth May representing the Green Party. Again, I was kind of curious because I thought she resigned from that position, but I'm not sure. And then Maxime Bernier representing the People's Party, which he founded, and they are basically the far right party of Canada.
yeah. It seemed interesting. I guess there was uh, the prime minister said he had work to do. They made recent pollings that showed a rise of public disapproval of his leadership, which I don't know if maybe most thought he was over jumping the gun with wars with diplomatic struggles with India. I think that there might have been a big um, disagreement surge between that and a lot of criticism with his leadership amongst that. I apparently.
Definitely. And you know, By the way, if you have an election or an independence referendum that you want us to cover, please let us know because we are always looking
Yeah,
for new stuff to cover.
yeah. And then we just kind of just sparked up international recent news, and we can anything in general. We love this comments and feedback that that we're back, that we're gonna usually record on it's and then get it out the next couple days, and we're looking to keep this steady through any just really news coverage in general. That we're just here to um, express and bring a voice to um, any causes.
Yeah. Um, this I do want to bring up because I think our viewers will find it very interesting. Um, there will be 10 new districts and 3 new block seats created in the next Japanese general election, but with that, 10 districts and 3 block seats will be eliminated to create the new districts and block seats. Um, Tokyo getting 5 more, Kanagawa getting 2 more, Saitama, um, Aichi, and Chiba, they're all getting 1 more, and then it does look like Tokyo could receive 2 more after the 5 that they just got, and Minami Kanto could receive another one. Actually, no, Tokyo will get 2 block seats, Minami Kanto will get one. I misread that. Um, but this is where this is where the controversy is. The districts being eliminated. Uh, uh, I'm not gonna bring up the exact districts, but Hiroshima, Miyagi, Niigata, Fukushima, Okayama, Shiga, Yamaguchi, Ehime, Nagasaki, and Wakayama. They are all getting their districts. They are all getting some of their districts eliminated. Hiroshima, Fukushima, and Nagasaki are all extremely controversial, especially Fukushima, because right now they're kind of dealing with, releasing the water from the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power plant into the ocean.
Yeah, that's pretty striking. Yeah.
Yeah. The 3 block seats that are getting eliminated are in Tohoku, Hokuriku Shinetsu, and Chugoku. So, yeah. Um, but I thought this would be interesting to talk about because Wakayama, they're they're losing a district despite Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida surviving an assassination attempt in Wakayama Prefecture earlier this year.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, be able to most of those when scares like that seem to happen, that they usually are try to cover that up with their life, and really that try to act that
And they usually
when
gain more districts.
when foreign leaders get attempted. But, mm, yeah, uh, that's striking stuff. Uh, yeah, uh, maybe I yeah uh, going back more to uh, it, maybe just back to our American politics, and knowing that I knew there was something interesting that I saw the other day, that knowing that if Donald Trump would go the way of Paula Page, um, and if those you don't know, Paula Page was the former governor of Maine, and he eventually ran until he was kind of voted out eventually, and uh, yeah, it's hard to know if it'll go that way, and hard to know that so to go back to civility and other than it's weird time of where I guess that no one's going to be happy with the person and just kind of uh, being like why I think I had said why neuroscientists why Donald Trump supporters can't change their minds about them, and there's just going to be that 30% um, MAGA extremism ideology that you're just not going to convince some that he's cartoonized. There's just nothing that no matter what he does or continues to, it's there's not you're not really going to be able to convince um, some people that that's where that um, it is. I knew the Abuzi of a speech the other day speaking about Israel. He attacked Israel. He's definitely has attacked the Prime Minister Netanyahu a lot. I think call him a thug and a hypocrite, and I think his a lot of speech is basic. I think in day one that he would have solved the war in Ukraine, but I think in 30 seconds, if the elections weren't rigged, that he would have had this war all cleared up, and um, instead that we wouldn't have quote Coke in the White House between Hunter and even Joe. There's a lot of the rambling, but uh, yeah, kind of attacking all the bizarre bizarre ways. And yeah, has always has found a way to make the conflict about himself. Pretty much, um, has really tried to um, a lot recently. Uh, yeah, he's been on caps alert, um, and yeah, so is you know Marjorie Taylor Greene, and um, yeah, that's kind of how it usually is. As as we're just deep in a speakership crisis, and yeah, uh, I guess there was other news of I think the state of California became the first to ban um, for potential chemicals in processed food, which is more of a side news thing, which is kind of just interesting of how I'm not surprised that California would be the state to do that. So I think like Skittles and like other just specific candies you can't get anymore, and is
Guys, buy your candy in
um,
Arizona, Oregon, Idaho, Nevada,
yeah.
any border state. Please just heed that warning.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, of what I've yeah basically of what I've the border states of um and I think Carrie Lake has also surprisingly um switched to a couple more moderate topics instead of milking bulls has tried to take the switch against the anti-abortion act to more the stance of I think it's more up to the states instead of a national ban trying to have that get more moderate votes uh, which I didn't expect that I but um yeah uh I don't know if your Taylor Swift's new movie I think that's expected to be like the highest grossing film of all time. I think I'd seen the other side news as well. I don't know if you heard about that.
I have not, but that that's insane.
I'm not surprised. Some would say that she's almost living the American dream right now. This kind of just, and I know the other, especially NFL fans, are obviously tired of just seeing her at the with the Chiefs. It's kind of been a different dynamic between her and Travis Kelsey, um, and that yeah, each games that she's kind of gone to. I understand that it's kind of yeah, as the NFL getting the Swifties so involved, or it's, and how she put Travis Kelsey on like another orbit, pretty much. Just
Yeah,
it's
and
not even confirmed if they're dating. Like you think, but
so this is what exactly something that I wanted to talk about this week. Not only has it kind of opened up NFL fans to Taylor Swift's music, but it's also kind of given the Swifties like a sport to follow.
yeah, which I'm not. I don't mind that. It's football being my favorite sport. Maybe it's a little. It's yeah. It's a little bit too much. I mean, even yeah, because even Travis Kelsey has said it's been too much. That even the NFL has kind of overreacted with this. But uh, yeah, it's yeah, it's definitely that like each game just like ran like even there was one game she didn't show up that there were still a bunch of Swifties there being like where is she like that they still like each had to cover it and like I knew like one family member I knew couldn't take it. It was stop showing Taylor on the screen like
Oh god.
um kind of but I don't hate her music but it's like we don't even know if they're really like they could be just best friend or they're I'm sure it's they're loving the branding. I know his jersey skyrocketed and um
I was looking at getting one before this all happened, and I had the link saved, and now they're all sold out.
yeah. Uh I was trying to there was I knew there was a game that either if it was after the where there was a game that uh the Jets kind of outplayed the Chiefs, but they still kind of won it to the refs. And it was like Travis Kelsey was like, and Taylor and I like drove off into the sunset, like kind of like after it was like, yeah, all right. But yeah, I feel each week I'll say that the football week gets crazy, but this was a really bizarre NFL week. Out of no, there are no more undefeated teams. 49ers and Eagles were both upset. Uh, Brock Purdy did not have a good game, and that was his first regular season loss on the Niners quarterback, and it was ugly. There were a couple injuries throughout that game, but Cleveland didn't even have their starting quarterback, and was very fluky. And it was a bad weather game too, and they don't play well in bad weather games. But Philly too. Yeah, they that was definitely I didn't uh, expect Philly to get the Jets like that. Zach Wilson's been impressing more, but it was if Philly hadn't been a good regular season team this year. They were getting lucky in a lot of so I didn't expect that to come out. The Bengals had a lucky win today, bouncing back against Seattle, 17-13. Pretty close. Burrow's saying he's healthier than ever coming off the calf injury, and it's good to see they're getting healthier at the right time. And um, not the Patriots though. Uh, they're yeah in the worst in the Belichick era at 1-5, and that I don't know how much longer Mac Jones is going to be the quarterback. I'll predict. I'm assuming that he'll probably be there again next week. But then they play Buffalo and Miami, and this was a game that I expected them to beat against the Raiders, and they're just so injured that they had nothing to. And the offense actually looked better. Then the defense disappointed them. So it's like I don't know what out of the Bill Belichick anyway. Like it's at its worst. It's like it's a disaster for them. Uh,
Yeah. Um, the Patriots though did sign Malik Cunningham to the 53 man roster.
they did, yeah. They gave him a 3-year deal. He had been undrafted free. They put he was on the field, but not as a quarterback, which I did expect that Mac had been off but they played him the whole time. And I expected, but um, Malik kind of played more as wide receiver, so I guess they didn't want to give him too much of the workload. Um, but I just think that would have been a pretty winnable game if they were just healthy. But I've never seen them that injured before, and they don't really even have a defensive coordinator. So it's just like the defense looked different. The defense isn't scoring points. That's if it seems like okay, if New England wants to have a good run game, strong defense, I'm not even seeing that. Patriots would have always got interceptions and pick sixes, and they're not even doing that anymore. To me, so I've never seen anything like it from them. Even when the offense was kind of stepping up after a battered O line and no receivers out there, like it's still hard for me to blame the quarterback, and yet the team's completely given up on him, and they're ready. They're ready for him to shit. It's like more if Belichick's given up on him, then it's like I don't. I've heard that Belichick is an untouchable. I know Kraft's pretty more. I feel he's more fed up with him than the quarterback. I've never seen so much disarray from. It just proves how much Tom Brady was an impact to the team because Belichick's record since Brady is .463, not a winning record. It's interesting.
Um, did we talk about the Greater Idaho uh plan?
I don't think so.
Um, do you want to like explain that for our viewers because I know a little bit about it, but I don't know much about it.
About the uh, say that again.
Greater Idaho.
Oh, uh, the movement.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I guess that's popped up. Um, it started in a month to I guess shrink Oregon and expand Idaho, and now that's been more of a move recently to just like in the like a greater Idaho, a bigger, but that's yeah, a movement for countries of East Oregon Cascades to these and from the state to join on it, and that's that's very interesting.
y-
Um,
I find that crazy personally.
I, I mean, what if that did have that would be 49 states, which I brother like other states, you could say also the adding in DC or Puerto Rico or um,
Or
Dominica,
you could just keep
yeah.
the 20% of Oregon that wants to say Oregon. You can just keep that.
Yeah, I guess there's also a state legislator from Oregon on October 19th plans to meet with other lawmakers from Idaho to discuss the Greater Idaho Plan. What I guess this has um, become more of an idea. I don't. But what like why is Oregon desperate? Are they just like we need Idaho? We like Idaho, but like it's just it really is interesting. Why not be like North and South Carolina? What South Carolina like? Hey, we want to be with North Carolina now. It's like why the Greater Idaho movement? It's interesting.
My my proposal is that we keep both Idaho and Oregon states, but we just cede the parts of Oregon that want to be Idaho. We just cede those to Idaho, but keep
Guess so.
basically keep Western Oregon, Oregon, but Eastern Oregon goes to Idaho.
I yeah, uh, yeah. Uh, yeah, I don't. We're not from, or it'd be a difference if we were from, or if we were in Idaho and we were like, I guess we'd have maybe if we can. How does Idaho feel, or is that? Yeah, it's definitely interesting, but uh, yeah, there aren't any really, and there. I mean, there's no Idaho or Oregon football teams besides college. But you know,
We've got to get a movement started.
for
We've got to get a movement
for our area,
for Oregon and Idaho. We got to get a football team in either Portland or Salem out there.
yeah, they need a yeah. There's a little too much between like Denver and Kansas City. There's a lot of open space in that west area because then they just have Vegas and LA team. There's a lot of tumbleweeds within. Yeah, because yeah, um, yeah. I mean, yeah, you'd wish it would just be easy for the Patriots to tank and get Caleb Williams, but Caleb Williams threw 3 picks last night against USC. That that it's but yeah, I don't know. USC's not near or Oregon, so uh, but yeah, really really weird, unprecedented day from the football world. I uh, and yeah, but I wish Idaho got more of a say. But
Um, who's your favorite football team? I've been wanting to know this.
oh yeah, it's the Patriots and Bengals. I mean, in Bengals, but I guess recently uh, more I guess having the feel for the Bengals and Joe Burrow and that they're just getting healthier and because I've kind of yeah that's how I like to see it that it's just like oh I'm always gonna like Patriots are like my local team but it's like all right now they'll never really be the same without Tom Brady so it's like I gotta like but I've always seen a lot out of Joe Burrow so I definitely think he deserves a ring so I've wanted to really root for him to get that and so it was a rocky start for him with the calf injury but now I think he's healthy and the team's only going to get healthier and um, not the best like organization and also like weird like Cincinnati, Ohio, like nothing super special about Cincinnati, but I just like I like a lot of it. They've got a really good defense, a really good defensive coordinator, and then they've got a really explosive offense. And there's a lot of I know the potential there, so I've really enjoyed watching them. And I get the 49ers are also really explosive this year, but Brock Purdy didn't have a good game today. Um, and even college, I've always kind of liked Alabama because I like Nick Saban and I like. But recently, I've always kind of rooted for the Alabama quarterback, but Tua's only he's kind of come out and looked the best because then there was Mac and then there was Bryce Young, which I really liked, and he's disappointing in Carolina a little bit, and now they've got Jalen Monroe. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm still kind of deciding who um my favorite college team is. I did I'm Patriots and Seahawks. Um,
so Bengals just beat the Seahawks today. That was
oof.
a nice. That was we needed that to get on point 500.
I'd
Um,
have to say LSU. They're one of my uh favorite teams in college. Hawaii.
yeah,
Um, I do like Clemson, Boston College,
Yeah, yeah,
um, and Wake Forest and Virginia Tech. I'd actually have to say, as of right now, though, um, it would have to be. I'm not even sure if they're uh, D1, but UConn.
hmm. Yeah. You name it like three of those are other ones. LSU, like definitely, I liked. That's where Burrow and Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson came out of, and what a duo that was. And I was he also I want the I was it was like the Burrow X jersey. He had like a custom jersey in LSU, and but BC I also enjoy. Um, yeah, there are a lot of good players out of that. I'd say Flowers, who's drafted out of that. He's a shaped by Baltimore and uh, yeah, UConn. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, apparently Kennesaw State is going to be going D1 next year.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's yeah,
uh,
yeah. Right. Well, yeah. I think Vladimir Putin. I think he visited Beijing the other day, and I get that's almost kind of underscores China's diplomatic support for Russia because he was also expected to meet with Chinese leaders this week for Beijing about the war in Ukraine and that. Uh, that's I mean I'm not surprised that Putin's all around doing it. We're gonna see doing stuff like this till he dies. That's kind of his memo that he overall power until but yeah um I I knew there was also President Biden was investigated with the special counsel for a couple of days. Met with them, and then I think we already kind of briefly mentioned that his dog was finally um, uh, not Major's not biting anymore service agents. um,
yeah,
but um, yeah, like I said, someone like that, like the Santa saying, like that we shouldn't take any Palestinian refugees from Gaza because they're all anti-Semitic. Um, Interesting statement.
yeah.
Um,
I I personally don't really think that was a fair statement, but
no,
yeah, um,
yeah,
yeah, yikes.
yeah. There's yeah, I, uh, there's nothing, yeah, obviously morally justifiable by uh, the killings on both sides. Um, yeah, uh, there's not clarity in wrecking vengeance on innocent people. So it's we're yeah, well, we're trying to say the neutral on both sides, but know the difference between just not condemning war in general, and um, that we could hopefully see a non-hateful um, way out of this.
Yeah, I really hope that that's possible at this point.
'Cause, yeah, that's kind of just been the main. at least to the news. I personally feel like that it shouldn't even really be a political issue. That we should just be united through this and try to figure it out and not do things like in Illinois. Um,
Yeah, that's just horrible.
uh, yeah. Um, the first U.S. state to allow medical marijuana at regular pharmacies is in Georgia, which that, huh? Just imagine you go to your CVS and seeing like half a gram.
That
Hey, your local pharmacy.
I don't know.
Just new.
It's kind of crazy. Uh, I'm not sure how I feel about that one.
Yeah. Uh, yeah. Uh, I don't know exactly. There was something I kept hearing about. So many people have been washing their jeans the wrong way. Hey, am I? Was I the only one? There was something. I I don't know what I heard, but there was just like, am I the only one who heard about this?
I have
Um,
not heard about it.
yeah, it was. Yeah, there. I guess you were supposed to turn them inside out, um, so that I guess eventually it fades way quick. I don't even wear jeans, but I just knew there was just so many people that were just like what, because nobody watches them that way. So it's um yeah, just news and but yeah, and then Sarah Huckabee, I don't know, you know her name. I guess she had been accused spending about $19,000 on a lectern and cooking books cover it up. That's interesting. Um,
That is very, very interesting.
but yeah.
Um,
How are the MLB playoffs going out?
ALCS, ALCS started tonight. Um, I'd say they're pretty good. Houston versus Texas is actually happening right now. Um, I did get to watch a little bit of the game before we recorded. Um,
Uh,
it is currently the bottom of the eighth inning. Texas is up 2-0.
yeah, I thought it was interesting that I saw that the teams with the five best records in the regular season are 1-12 in the postseason,
Yeah, the
and I that number's changed by now, but
yeah, it's just yikes.
uh, but yeah, uh, I knew. Yeah, speaking on just the general future of New England, I'll feel like Matt will play for another. But this was just a pure winnable game then, but now you're playing really tough teams. I don't know what's gonna. I heard that the coach Malik Cunningham, who they signed, is definitely trending towards getting a chance to play more and probably eventually start at some point in the season. Because they're kind of they were doing different roster decisions with their other quarterbacks. Uh, so they're definitely seeing more of a potential in him. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens here.
yeah. I know a lot of people have been seeing Jada Smith pop up a lot in the news this week for some interesting. She's really just wanted to talk, I guess. Um, I just thought it was interesting that her and Will Smith hadn't been together since 2016, but it was like, oh, why did he slap Chris Rock? And so keep my wife's name out of it. Yeah, obviously, good friends that still respected her enough to do that, but it was still. I just thought interested that she's definitely really spoken out a lot recently this week, and it's funny that I'm sure new at least news that was coming up a lot.
Yeah. Um, there. It's kind of shocking to be honest. She's talking a lot about Tupac. Like, what's
Yes,
going on there?
I guess they'd never even had a love connection. I guess they were nothing more than friends, but they didn't even really. They weren't together that much. He was more of her soulmate,
Yeah.
which is yeah, just yeah, interesting. Uh, yeah, despite 19 years of marriage to the front Fresh Prince. Uh, yeah, she was like they didn't have any chemistry, but he was still my soulmate. Yeah, that I guess she also said that Tupac had alopecia. I maybe that I guess that probably just inspired her a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, uh, yeah, I guess, but her life has been saved since she's been introduced to psychedelics. So she's definitely just opening up a lot. um,
Definitely.
but yeah, I Drake now has the most number one albums on the Billboard 200 this century since that his new album. Um, and he's not expected to make any more music after this anytime soon. But um, yeah, like I said, Taylor Swift is expected to make 4.1 billion through her entire Eras tour. So that and she's probably expected to donate a lot of that, but that's just insane. Um,
Yeah. Definitely.
I guess there's a JFK series in the works for Netflix. No, we talk a little bit about entertainment, but
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, this was interesting. I get Americans have failed to pay record 688 billion in taxes in 2021.
Yikes.
I wish it was that easy.
Yeah. That's a lot of arrests. A lot of arrests, probably.
Yeah. Uh, did I see? I think Logan Paul defeated Dylan Dennis after 6 rounds in a UD fight. I don't usually pay a whole lot of attention to those things, but I said that the Paul brothers have become pretty experienced fighters over the years.
Yeah. Um, I mean, KSI getting knocked out by Tommy Fury, though.
Yeah, I think I saw that as well. Uh, yeah, Tommy Fury defeats him. Uh, KSI said he was robbed and plans to file an appeal.
We'll see what happens there.
But I don't think so. No, if he's knocked out, hey,
Yeah.
uh,
Just yikes.
yeah, yeah. Um,
Um,
this was set. Buffalo running back Damian Harris taken off the field by an ambulance tonight um, after suffering an injury, but he goes up um, as he was to the stadium. Thoughts for him, the former Patriot as well. So thinking of him as that broke out.
yeah. Um, it's crazy. Um, the Bills just have the worst luck.
Usually with those kind of injuries, yeah, it even. But yeah, yeah, Jimmy G he had a back injury too after that game, and then when Brian Hoyer entered the game, the Patriots still couldn't get it done. But yeah, this sparked in weird. There were a lot of low scoring games, but Miami beat Carolina pretty comfortably, 42-21. But one question, I got Tua paused his conference to discuss about Israel and Hamas, and he was like, "quote I didn't really realize how bad things were in Israel. I didn't know. I guess someone asked him about it, and he didn't really know. Um, I guess I don't. I guess I'm not surprised by Tua. I don't know why he's fluctuated in a lot of right wing media recently. I think even between when it came to what was the Sound of Freedom
Yeah.
and just promoting that, and then him and Vivek Ramaswamy also a lot of promotions with that too. Just I don't know why. Um, yeah, it, uh, yeah, just funny, just really interesting football day today,
Yeah. I've
and
got
yeah,
yeah, I've got another fake campaign logo in the works.
that's awesome.
'Cause you saw the one I made earlier, right?
Yes,
All right.
RFK Jr. and Perry Johnson.
Oh, this one's it's there. Um,
Yeah,
I'll send this to you after the video, but it's hilarious.
all right.
All right. Well, is there anything else we should talk about?
I don't know if I it's yeah. I mean, it's a crazy news week. Crazy, yeah. All throughout. Yeah, we'll definitely will be peppering throughout the war, and House Speaker vote is expected to be Tuesday. Um, so
Yep.
yeah, um, and Ecuador just got a new president at only 35. As yeah, international, but that's even better. You can yeah, Vivek Ramaswamy and Tua. Um, he wants Tua to be his VP. I'm pretty sure. So
Yeah, that's why I
um,
made this.
that's exactly why.
Yeah, too bad
Yeah,
I can't legally put these up on thumbnail, but if I could,
yeah.
I
I mean,
would.
he thinks Tua speaks the truth, and yeah, just a lot. It's really interesting of Vivek is TikTok, and a lot of people call it edging. I edge to you, Vivek.
No, no, no,
That's what
no,
a
no.
lot of people have
Okay,
been
okay,
saying.
okay.
I'm sorry, but you didn't even want me to say. Okay, I said it. I don't. That's not what I meant. I don't. I'm just saying it. I'm not actually meaning. Oh
Yeah.
no,
Oh god, this is gonna
I am
get put
not.
in the first out of context um compilation that someone's gonna make.
Yeah, I,
I might have
yeah,
to edit that part out.
yeah. Uh, who would win? I mean, RFK Jr. and Perry or Vic and Tua?
Yeah, leave a comment because we want to know who went, RFK Jr. and Perry Johnson or Vivek Ramaswamy and Tagovailoa.
Yeah, because those are I mean, I don't. Did I show you that video of how would the debate campaign go? And it was just like the NFL intro was like Chris Christie, Golden Corral,
Yeah, I've seen that.
and it was so it's like,
Doug
yeah, you got
Burgum,
all those, but
why am I
then
here?
yeah, these these two campaigns are going to stand out the most. Uh, so yeah, comment below.
All right.
And yeah, there's also there's our music too that we're um, definitely um, working on spreading throughout and just working on more projects together.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Um, but yeah. Um, this has been Scapegoats, episode 6.
yeah, I'm Romney.
I'm Baker.
We will see you
All right.
in the next one.
All right. Peace out.